Continuing now with our Thought Leaders series here on LMFM, we're joined today by John Pepper, the Group Chief Executive with the St John of God's Hospitaller Services, and probably the first layperson in the country to hold such an office within the structure of a traditional religious order, and his responsibility extends to territories in Great Britain and Malawi and Zambia and places like that. Good morning, John. You're very welcome to LMFM.
Hello, good morning, Orla.
John, the fall in vocations, we actually had a story here earlier on this morning about the drop in religiosity, if you like, in Ireland, but there has been a fall in vocations very well documented over the years, and this obviously has led to a sort of a move by religious orders maybe to transition in some ways to more lay involvement and lay control. Is that how your role came about?
I think it is, Orla. I think there's probably three dimensions to it in the context of the order. First of all, there was the call from Vatican II for greater lay participation, and the order itself embraced that in a very enthusiastic way from the mid-80s. And since then we have been involved in developing what I call succession leadership, and that's essentially putting in place people who are not solemn professed religious in positions that was traditionally held by brothers. And when I came to work with the order in 1986, we had 16 brothers leading the services here in Ireland. Now we have a situation between Ireland, the UK, Malawi, the States and Zambia that we actually have only 2 brothers, and the vast majority of the services now are led by lay people. And the curious thing, Orla, is that in fact the vast majority of those, 8 out of 10 are female, which is an incredible turnaround.
Isn't that an astonishing change to see in our lifetime, that a whole religious order and the whole structure and the governance of that religious order would change, first of all, as you say, to lay people, and then that there would be women in those positions of responsibility? That's
right. Well, as I said earlier, we developed a particular succession management strategy that was around growing our own people. And that commenced in the early 1990s, and 9 out of 10 of our lay leaders, they're all people who have come up through the system and have grown with us. So they have bought into the particular values of the order, the particular culture, and they live those out on a daily basis in their behaviours. So in effect, in any of our services, one wouldn't draw any distinction today between the services that are run by brothers and the services run by lay people, because we have extraordinary men and women today running the services.
Now, you'd be most well known in the North East region, the St John of God's Order, for the wonderful work you've done in Drumcar over the years. But even the type of work that's been done there is perhaps changing, in the sense that that was your large institution to care for people with special needs, etc., and that is now all moving into the community. How has that aspect of the transitioning been going on?
Well, actually, Drumcar is only one of our 12 services in Ireland. It's our largest service. It has a budget of 26 million, and that's a reduction of 6 million over the past 4 years. But the people in Drumcar, led by Bernadette Shevlin, they're just extraordinary people, incredibly resourceful, incredibly resilient, and they seem to strike me as people who constantly on a daily basis want to help the people we serve realise their dreams. For example, in the last number of months, many of the service users there actually met the Irish soccer team. We had a number of people last year who graduated from DKIT with FETAC qualifications. We had a number of people who've graduated from the Louth VEC with computer skills, and we've actually a camera club there that participated in the St Patrick's Day parade. We have several people now living out in the community between Monaghan, Navan, Ardee, Monasterbice, Castlebelling and Blackrock. Within my own club, the Geraldines, we actually have a number of people who traditionally lived in St Mary's Drumcar who are now actually active members of the club. So it's an incredible transformation, and this is against the background of very, very severe cuts, reductions in employee numbers. For example, in the past 2 years, we've lost 39 people in our services in the North East, but it hasn't prevented people developing and particularly expanding into the community.
So you're seeing this transitioning, as we said, of people moving into the community rather than living in these institutionalised big sort of setups that was the way of the past, and obviously that is working. But do you see Drumcar staying on very much as the hub that controls all of this activity and the central point of access for people to access these resources?
Yeah, well, certainly I would never see the facilities in Drumcar ever closing down. That just won't happen. We also have to be mindful that the people we serve now, those with an intellectual disability, that they live longer. And within our services now we have more than 140 people who are aged over 50. So these people have critical medical needs, nursing needs, and there will always be the need for services similar to what we provide on the campus of St Mary's, but it will be much more focused on dealing with their medical dependency, their nursing dependency, and the normal disabilities that come with ageing.
I love the way you use the term the people we serve, and you've used that several times, and it is a lovely way of putting it, that you serve the people with the special needs rather than caring for them or imposing your way on them. It's a lovely juxtaposition, and I think that's very much what the whole ethos of St John of God's is about, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, Orla. I see my role as Group Chief Executive very simply to serve. And all our people in leadership positions, we actually have a philosophy of that, because if it weren't for the people in places like St Mary's Drumcar, in Malawi, in Monzi in Zambia, in our service in the States and the UK, there wouldn't be any need for us. And so there is a very fundamental philosophy that we are there to serve, and that's the essence of our core values of care, compassion, respect, justice, and in essence hospitality.
Does that whole attitude sit with modern times and modern reporting structures? And the reason I ask you that is, you sort of have a vision of somebody caring, somebody serving, having the time to sit down and relax and chat to the person they're working with, as much as filling in the forms. But the HSE requires an awful lot of form filling and an awful lot of administration. How does that sit with your whole ethos nowadays?
Well, I think, Orla, to be honest, it is proving to be a tremendous challenge. We certainly recognise that the HSE, it has certainly statutory obligations, and we have accountability for the funds that are distributed to us. We're also mindful of the fact that coming down the road very, very quickly, we have HIQA, which is the Health Information Quality Authority. And again, I think it deserves to be said that the people in Drumcar have a tremendous vision. They have already prepared the staff there and the service users for the advent of HIQA. So while it can be a source of irritation, the amount of form filling, the amount of records to be kept, it's a requirement, and we've got to live with it.
Regarding the health service, we were speaking earlier, I'm not sure if you heard, to Councillor Paul Bell, who's the Mayor of Drogheda, and he's very interested in the whole healthcare issue and equality in the healthcare services. I grew up close to Stillorgan, and I know the St John of God's house in Stillorgan was very much known to be a place where there was excellent rehab facilities available for those with emotional needs or drink-related needs or whatever, but that really, it was a VHI situation. You had to have the VHI in order to get in there. So do people access all of the John of God's services equally in this day and age?
Oh, absolutely. While St John of God Hospital Stillorgan, it is a private hospital, there is capacity within that hospital to admit people from the local area of Blackrock, Donnybrook, but actually beyond that, who are in the public service. And at this point in time, we have within the hospital over 180 beds, we have 28 people who are public patients who are receiving a service there, which is equal to what their private colleagues are receiving. So there is no discrimination.
I know that John of God's is a huge employer. I think you employ up to 3,000 people in the country. Is that correct? And will that stay the same, or do you see that shrinking as the needs change?
Well, no, we certainly will continue to employ a large number of people, but unfortunately, like all similar organisations, in the past number of years, we have been subject to budget cuts, and we've also been subject to the government moratorium. And again, if we get back to St Mary's Drumcar, in 2008 we had 590 staff there. Today we have 517, so we've lost 73 staff. But the extraordinary thing is that the services continue to be of a high quality, And, we will continue to obviously maintain a high standard or a high level of employment. But again, when one is subject to government regulation, we have to operate within that.